This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
So this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Oh, I think I felt me antibiotics kick in a bit there mid-announcement. I'm all right. I'm all right, everyone.
Do you want to say what it is? No?
Oh, yeah, I had a tooth out yesterday, so I'm just...
Keep it vague.
No, when it comes to antibiotics, I believe don't keep it vague, because people can assume other things.
Oh, no.
People get judgy.
It's a fight against dental infection, I believe, but all seems good at the moment.
How many teeth have you got, Frank? You revealed earlier.
I revealed that 11... I have 11 missing, 11 removed teeth.
Right.
And so I think that means, I think you get 32, so I think I've got
like
20,
an old pug or something.
I've got 21 teeth. Like an old pug. Exactly. Touch for the very first time. Wouldn't have been such a big hit, would he? Like an old pug.
Would in my house.
Maybe she sings that version now. I think she looks great. I'm the only person left who thinks Madonna looks great now. Anyway.
Text in to start the show.
No, yeah, we shouldn't do that. Oh, listen, I've got to tell you this. I have to tell you this. Now, this begins with a little walk down memory lane. When I first started doing comedy back in the 80s, I used to do regular gigs in Tipton, in the West Midlands. Tipton was a place famous for rag and bone men, a great population of rag and bone men. Not as in, I'm only human, but as in, hey, old man! Hey, all right.
Sounds fairly similar.
And people used to... The thing that people used to say is that a horse in the front garden used to be the regular motif of the Tiptonian. Anyway, I spent a lot of time in Tipton at a pub called Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory. Okay? This is going somewhere crucial.
That was a pub?
It was a pub, yeah. But they made...
Confusing name.
Yeah. It was.
Picker Lane.
They used to sell these massive pies with like horns on the top made of pastry called Desperate Damn Pies, which were massive.
Brilliant.
Massive. They were great. Oh, they were great.
They sound great.
So anyway, I spent a lot of time in Tipton, to the point where the only thing now I can be really weakened by, if I'm captured by my enemies, is Tiptonite. Which is rock from the Tipton area. So anyway, I hadn't heard from the pub. I'm talking about like 1988. Anyway, I got a message from the pub saying, can we send you some pies? And I said, well, is the Pope Argentine? I said. So they sent me 9 pies in a box. Like, steak pie, there was a vegetarian pie, chicken, and they are fabulous. The pastry is... Anyway, so lovely. I ate the pies. Great. And obviously they're on a thing of trying to publicise by sending pies. So
Celebrity pies.
Like I might talk about them on the radio. To be honest, I had them last week. I forgot to talk about them on the radio. But what made me think about it is this week I had another box of pies arrive. Oh. It had my address on, obviously, because it arrived at my house. But the name on it
was
Lenny Henry. So... I think they've obviously thought, they've written to Lenny Henry, can we send you some pies? Yes, please. And
please don't say you ate Lenny Henry's pies.
Well, they won't keep, you see. But then I saw him on Comic Relief last night. He looked very thin. I felt guilt. That's because I've had his pies, the poor thing. But yes, so I'm talking into Lenny Henry's pies. So Lenny Henry's thinking, Mad O'Rourke let me down. Where's my pies? I was promised.
Right.
I think they'll last me just about until Adrian Chiles's pies arrive.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
The Pie Factory also does a fantastic mixed grill served on a shovel.
On a shovel, lovely.
Chris in Wednesbury?
Wednesbury.
Wednesbury.
Yeah. Wednesbury was where West Bromwich Albion bought their first football. In the days when they were West Bromwich Strollers. I wish they'd kept that name.
Adorable.
It's very apt at times. So that reminds me and Eddie Izzard was doing gigs in Sweden again in the 80s. And we went to a restaurant and it said steak on a plank. And we were laughing about, obviously it meant something else in Swedish and all that, but it was laughing about it. The way people used to laugh at, foreign words and stuff in the old days. And then when it turned up, it was a steak on a plank. It was actually on a plank of wood.
Oh, was it?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, it's all right.
Really?
Very nice, thank you.
I'd fear splinters.
Yeah, well, that was always a danger. Do you mean the rat from Teenage Mutant
Ninja Turtles? Actually, didn't it get changed to Hero Turtles because ninjas were considered too violent?
Oh, sorry about that, Al. That was a bad day in your house.
I used to do a stand-up routine about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in which, well, he had one ear, the rat, Splinter, and he was the only one who wasn't named after a famous artist. That felt like a trick had been missed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did a quiz this week, school quiz.
Oh.
With a team of other parents, some of which I knew, some of which I didn't, and we damn well won it. It was great.
And what was the nature of the quiz? A general knowledge?
Well, I'll give you a little. I think my great. When you do well in a quiz, you go home and lie in bed and just. What I do, I think about my best moments, and then I honestly do this. I'm not saying this for comic effect. I imagine getting some of the questions that no one else got.
So I've done that, Frank.
I fantasise about it. I mean, it's the most pathetic thing.
I'm going to guess that a lot of the other parents were taking it less seriously than this.
Well, no, they might have been pretending to take you, but my best moment, I'm going to be straight with you, was name a year in which both Sir Isaac Newton and Galileo Galilei were alive.
Wow.
So I was pretty pleased with that. And I worked it out via Milton's Paradise Lost. I mean,
you didn't.
out loud to the... It was like, it's like watching someone throw a pot. It was fantastic.
You got it to the exact year. That's fabulous.
No, I didn't. You were allowed 6 years
you were
either
allowed
way.
6.
Okay.
Can you
don't
do
spoil
that? Can
it
you
by
do it
questioning
now so
me?
I can hear it because I've no idea. Like I would guess something stupid like 1984, which is wrong.
Well, in Paradise Lost, Milton talks about meeting Galileo, and Milton was part of the English rebels that fought to get Cromwell.
Absolute radio.
On the thing. Yeah, exactly. So that's going to put it in the 1640s, because the restoration of the monarchy is 1660. You got to come back about 18 years from there. Anyway, look, it was lovely.
I liked that, but you see, have you done that, Frank, with I'm a Celebrity? I know you've actually been on, not I'm a Celebrity, what's the other one, Millionaire. I know you've actually been on it, but I do sometimes fantasise about getting the £1 million question and my tone, and also... Well, the good news is, I have a whole spiel for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, the way... Because me and Dave won 250,000, and then we didn't know the 500,000 question. It was, what flower is the national symbol of Japan?
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, we didn't know that. But I have fantasised knowing it several times. Anyway, here's a question for you.
Go on.
If the person on your left says, "Thank you, I won't ask you to do that again. Please continue," what have you just done?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Framing Witches has got in touch.
Oh, yeah.
Just got in from a run and turned the wireless on. I mean, already I'm loving Framing Witches. And Frank is talking about Milton's Paradise Lost again.
Oh, sorry, guys.
All is right with the world on this glorious, sunny Saturday morning.
Lovely.
Oh, see?
We're sort of seeing it as a Saturday morning radio show and poetry podcast crossover, aren't we?
Well, it was
crossover.
Yeah.
There was a purpose to it, though.
Also, we don't normally read praise, but I read that because I would see it as more in praise of Milton. It's allowed.
Well, he doesn't get enough on commercial radio. I always think that.
Terrible PR, Milton.
Milton.
You asked a question. What was it?
Yes. If the person on your left says, "Thank you, I won't ask you to do that again. Please carry on. What have you just done?"
Okay.
And I think we've got an answer from one of our readers.
We have. Marcus Watkin says, an emergency stop during a driving test.
Yes, that's what they say after emergency stop. Did I tell you I saw an advert in the paper, half-page advert for learning to be a driving instructor.
Oh,
and they had
what
quotes.
year was it, 1974?
They had quotes. It's been a while back, but even so, they had quotes from people who've changed their life learning to be a driving instructor. And one bloke said, well, I took this course, blah, 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 and I've never looked back. And I thought, well, that's a terrible confession for a driving instructor.
They have mirrors, I think. Yeah.
They're still looking back, though, isn't it? He suggests he just pulls out and hopes for the best. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we won the quiz, and the prize was a packet of seeds each.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they were wildflower seeds.
Right.
Oh.
So you can grow wildflowers in your garden. Apparently bees are a bit partial.
Okay.
Oh, that's what you want, isn't it?
I mean, it's not what I would have
bees.
expected. Did you get a packet each, or did you have to...
No, we got a packet each. We didn't have to like pick them out and take them home in a tissue. That would have been awful. No, it wasn't the winning, obviously. Oh, it was the winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I had a strange thing the other day when my son went to bed. My wife and I ended up, instead of watching something on television or Netflix or whatever, for some reason we ended up having an impromptu quiz where I would say the name of a country and she would have to guess the population. I mean,
wow,
really good fun. I don't know how it happened, but it was...
See, that's one of the expressions of love that you don't often hear used. Two people who can just sit and do that.
Yeah, she was terrible at it, I must say.
Oh, well, now you've spoilt it a little bit.
Yeah.
Clever woman, but oh my goodness, really
Did
bad
you give
at
her-
guessing the populations of countries.
Did you give her within a sort of, a million? Or
No, she had to get it exactly right. That's the Alan Cochrane quiz.
That was the difficulty.
Yeah,
Quite hard to
exactly.
know exactly.
Yeah, Al was there with births and deaths app. It was the figures were changing as it went. Oh, I'll tell you one of the questions. There was a question. It was this is my last question I'm going to describe. It was the world, a map of the world, and some countries were coloured red, some blue, some green, and some black, and you had to say what it signified.
Oh.
And it was really, everyone was a real brain teaser. And it was, I'm going to tell you, colours of passports in those countries. I mean, very clever. Try that on the missus.
I will.
It was, anyway, that's enough quiz.
Try
honestly.
that on the missus. It's all kind of a bit pie on plank.
Remember, I'm trying to get northern with Al. It's the tip tonight.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Ultra Magnus says, if I'd have won a quiz only to find out that the prize was a packet of seeds, I'd have kicked off. Not violently, just pass ag. You're a better man than me, Frank.
Yeah, well, it was. I think it was a charity-based thing as well. So
Fair enough.
to me, the victory is everything. That's
I've got
all
a
right.
text in. I'm going to read it to you. I won't give you any spoilers. 142. Morning, Frank and the team. I was on one of the teams that got the passport question right.
Oh,
And
well,
yes,
oh wow!
I was replaying that one all night. Well done on your winning.
Hey,
Well done on your winning. Oh dear.
what if they'd said you didn't win it? It's an absolute lie, and I'd made it all up. I'd claimed to have won it. Verification. I didn't think
Quite
anyone
noble
got the
defeat
passport.
there, 142.
That's brilliant, though. Well done. Well done, you.
Oh, I like 142 would be a lovely friend for you, Frank.
Yeah, well, you never know. Do you?
Yeah.
As you know, I'm not great on the friends thing.
No, but it would be nice because you could keep the correspondence virtual.
Yeah, there is that.
Better that way.
Yeah. Wasn't that one of the Tracy brothers in Thunderbirds? Oh, that was Virgil. So, listen, when I had my tooth out, I was thinking, I don't know if I mentioned this before. You know, we used to have Whatever Happened To on this show. It sort of went... Whatever happened to... Neuralgia. What happened to that? Do you remember it? It used to be like a sort of an ache in the whole side of your face. And it was right up there with toothache as, you know, one of the common domestic ailments.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard... It was like Blur versus Oasis, toothache and neuralgia. And I think it's gone, hasn't it?
Has it?
Who's the last person who said... even earache. I haven't heard anyone say I've got earache
Well, I think
unless
now
I've been talking to them about Milton's Paradise Lost.
Oh, it's Kath. She gets earache a lot.
Right.
But it's always an infection. I've got an ear infection.
Oh, yeah. It used to just be ache.
Tummy ache. I've got a
Well, bellyache, yeah.
No, but you don't get tummy ache now.
But neuralgia, it took the best of toothache and earache and combined it into one double whammy.
Greatest hit.
Yeah.
Team. It was the original crossover hit.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, neuralgia.
It really...
brought together the best of both worlds. It was okay. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel, they had good solo careers, but when they were together...
Yeah, the feuds. I mean, the feuds were terrible.
I know, but neuralgia managed to unite those two in a peaceable thing.
Yeah.
I wonder what's neuralgia's equivalent of Bridge Over Troubled Water. What was its best moment? Perhaps the Queen had it or something like that.
Frank was telling me he had some lovely music played out during his dental procedure. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I had like... you know that sort of shark song? No, it's whale song. I don't think sharks don't sing to that. Oh, don't they go? That whale song sort of non-music stuff that you get when you're being massaged.
Yeah.
I think the idea is you think I don't mind if I don't survive this. If this is what the world is like.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Anne McNeil, according to the NHS website, neuralgia still going strong.
Oh.
Well, can I say not just according to the NHS website, according to several people that have texted us who've got neuralgia.
It's temporary though, isn't it?
For example, 162. Hi, Frank and the team. I've got trigeminal neuralgia. It's dreadful and definitely still a thing.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry to hear that. It's very much the modern world. They've had to put some big word on the front of it. Neuralgia isn't good enough for them.
096, re-neuralgia, dear all. I love dear all.
Yeah.
Another trigeminal neuralgia, a.k.a. face ache, is alive and well in our house.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I wasn't making light of it. I'm sorry if anyone's suffering.
I mean, we don't actually know that they've got the medical one. They could just mean that they're parents of teenagers, and face ache is like a nickname for a sort of sulking.
Well, at least it's the cleaner version of the aches. Of the popular aches.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know what you mean. It's not something you regularly hear people saying. It used to be very much a thing.
Always.
My neuralgia.
I've got a bit of neuralgia, yeah. And people, I tell you what we used to do is we'd put a towel, like a tea towel, around a hot water bottle and hold it at the side of our head like it was a massive wobbly mobile phone. Before mobile phones, we didn't even know we were... it's like no one ever told Shakespeare he had a head like a light bulb. So we'd do that, and the heat was supposed to cure it. So try that on your trimurals, whatever it's called.
Trigeminal.
You might need 3. You might need 3 hot water bottles for the tri.
Okay.
Trigeminal. Wow, what does that even mean?
Do people still use hot water bottles?
Only for neuralgia.
Is this show? Can it just be rechristened? Do people still?
Yeah.
...
So, you know, we all need someone to talk about. I was actually, you know, this thing on The Only Way is Essex is that they used to give, it was not scripted as such, but they'd give them bullet points of things to talk about in this scene. And I thought that so many people would benefit if that was a government thing, that you could get an email every day with a few bullet points of things to talk about. I think that's so help. You wouldn't get all those silences on the bus and stuff. People would get their bullet sheet thing out on the phone.
Yes.
And say, what about the Bermuda Triangle? That was a mystery, if ever there was one.
I love it on script. I believe is it called scripted reality? When, which seems like, I'm not sure you can quite get away with that.
I think my reality is relatively scripted.
But I like it when they attempt to make it sound spontaneous. They'll be sitting in a restaurant and saying, so, have you been speaking to Rick recently?
Yeah, that was like when you got interviewed by Des O'Connor, and what he was basically doing was setting you up for gags. And he'd say, so have you had any problems with neighbours using power tools just lately? Oh, Des, can we just be a bit vaguer? No, I'll tell you what people used to have, and I'll tell you what, I'd love to hear if anyone has got one of these, accidentally or deliberately, a conversation piece in their house. Oh. People used to come in and say, oh, that's and they would start the conversation off for the night.
Yeah.
I used to have a framed Frank Sinatra gig ticket. Because I'd seen Frank Sinatra at the Albert Hall, and people would come in and say, oh, they look at you first of all like you must be older than they thought. And then it sets you off straight away. And I don't know if people still have them, but if any one of our readers has got in their house what they might call a conversation piece, I'd love to know what it is.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 8 12 15. Go on. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. At used to be just such a minor word when I was growing up. It hardly got noticed, and now it's become central to our communication systems. Well done, you.
Frank, you were talking.
Swerve. Sorry, go on.
You were talking about great conversation pieces. Kim, I have a great conversation piece, especially for new friends. A husband who is 23 years younger than me.
Oh!
Yes, I meant conversation that happens while they're around there, not while they're in the car on the way home.
Yeah.
So much. But that's a very good one, I must say.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Kim says it's a surefire way to get the conversation started. I can imagine.
Well, some people, I've seen a trophy case used before as a conversation piece. Actual trophy husband. Why not? Yeah. Well done.
You also offered some neuralgia advice a few moments ago. You said, Frank,
hot water bottle.
Yes, and 162 has replied, Frank is right. I do try the hot water bottle on my face. It does dull the pain for a short while. And then they add, and I think this is useful information because we did wonder about what trigeminal was.
Yes.
It says trigeminal is the nerve that runs across the face. It has 3 branches.
Oh, that makes complete sense.
Good info.
Okay.
And Emily Dean asked if anybody still uses hot water bottles. I've got a bit of a confession. I still use them of an evening. And on a Saturday morning when I do this show, I get up and I make myself a cup of coffee. And with the water that's left in the kettle, I then put it into a hot water bottle and bring it down to my cellar with me.
That's from our regular spot, Alan Cochrane's Waste Not, Want Not.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just pop it in the back of my hoodie and I'll have it on like my shoulder.
The back of your hoodie,
It's very cozy.
Oh, I can feel the tightening of the zip against my Adam's apple.
Frank, why have Channel 5 not commissioned Alan Cochrane's Waste?
Look, it's just a matter of time. I think it would be great. Co-hosted by Frugal Sharky. Oh, man. That's I've never heard of the hot water bottle in the hood before. I've never put anything in. I remember on the bus.
It's not quite in my hood. It's in the back of my hoodie, just like sort of leaning against my left shoulder.
Oh, I
which
see.
Sometimes is a bit achy.
Do you use the hoodie as a sort of rucksack?
I remember sometimes on the bus, if you were wearing a coat with a hood on, sometimes when you got home there was like waste paper and wrappers in it, put in by mischievous schoolboys who were sitting behind you. Best thing you've found in your hood post-bus journey? What's on public transport generally? 8, 12, 15.
Other conversation starters. We have... I'm in two minds, I've got to be honest, as to how tasteful
Is this
and
from Harvey
appropriate...
Dent? Sorry, Harvey Dent was Two-Face in Batman. Carry on.
Mobs has said mother-in-law's ashes as an egg timer.
Ooh.
How do we feel about that?
Well,
I think I like that.
I like the sense of time as well about it, about, passing and things.
Memento mori.
Yeah, I like that.
Lovely
Stoics would
use.
like it.
I knew an old Irish guy who told me that he'd met a lady at a dance. He was like 60-odd and took her home for an evening of love. And he said before...
It wasn't. Sounds more like lust to me, but whatever.
Well, maybe. But she said she got up at one point, went to the other side of the room and then came back again. And then later in the encounter, he said, where did you go when you got up? She said, I turned my husband's ashes. So that the front was facing against the wall. Discretion. It's everything in modern life.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
102 has texted us a brief anecdote about
Hold on,
neuralgia.
I'll get settled.
My top neuralgia moment on a David Bellamy programme. He drank a cold drink and winced his head and scrunched his eyes and blurted out, "Instant neuralgia!" in an extreme version of his own voice. Lots of love, Steve. Oh, that's good.
And when he came back on after the break, you could just detect the handle of a water bottle in the beard. Just nestling. Now, he was a man who's oft done impression, off-impressed. What's the word?
Oh, yeah.
Impersonated.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the top three. It was Bellamy, Prince Charles.
I won a talent competition as a young person with stolen impressions of Frank Spencer, David Bellamy and Tommy Cooper, I think.
I think we're going to have a burst.
They're the big three.
Come on.
They're the big three, aren't they?
Come on now.
I can't even remember them now. I had jokes and everything.
Oh, did you? You didn't just do the voice?
Oh, no, they would have all been lifted. Oh, Jimmy Cricket was the other, not Tommy Cooper.
You know, I did one in a Birmingham nightclub, a John Wayne impression.
Oh, I feel ill.
And I sort of got up and said...
I don't think I can hear this.
And did sort of...
I feel absolutely sick. Ow, ow.
I'm going to do it.
Ow, can you...
There'll
Done Johnny Cash and Ian McMillan.
There'll be the day.
Oh,
and I did a bit of that, And get off your horse. It was all right. And then a bloke got up.
Was it?
It was good. And a bloke got up, dropped his trousers and shouted, "Birmingham City Kings of Europe." And
was that David Baddiel?
he was second. He was honestly second in the competition. Oh, well, it's all different. Oh, I won a Mick Jagger impersonating impression at...
Is this show just turning into you telling us when
well,
you
we're waiting for you to tell us what impression competition you won. This was the Radio 1 Roadshow at Eastbourne.
Wow.
And I won an album called by Jigsaw called Sky High. That was my prize. Give me the seeds.
I was going to say. John Hopkins. again, we're still on conversation pieces. My nan inexplicably used to have a huge portrait of Danny DeVito in the hallway of her bungalow. I think she wanted it bingo.
She wanted what?
I think she won it at bingo.
Oh, okay. What's the chances of that? I'd love to know.
But also,
Was he in a role? Was he like as the penguin or something? Or it was just, that's great. One of the best grandma conversation pieces I've ever heard of. You know, when randomness becomes a thing of true beauty, that is what that is.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I was going to introduce the show, and it's not that time. I'm just eating a Bircher muesli that Faye, the AP, just got. Actually, I knew a bloke called Bircher muesli in the S&M community. Lovely chap.
We've got various textings running today.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on.
No, yeah.
348.
Sorry, I was just trying to remember the safe word.
We ended up with an impromptu texting about what's been in your hoodie.
I didn't think anyone would answer that, I must say. I mean, that was a sort of a rhetorical texting.
Well,
that's brilliant that people have replied.
Has somewhat lit up the switchboard, as I like to say. I'll start with the cutest of them, and then we'll get to some of the more, mischievous ones. 348 has texted, while working from home during lockdown, we got a new kitten called Sydney.
Aww.
I used to wear my hoodie backwards and have Sydney in the hood while I was working.
Oh, imagine the dander rising up into your face from a cat that close.
See, my reaction was,
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm not really a cat person.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm allergic. To me, that would be a form of torture if someone tied me in a room with a reversed hoodie with a kitten in the front.
I'll tell you what, though, you've got to make an exception for David Baddiel's cats. David Baddiel has got fabulous cats.
They still make me cry and give me a sore throat.
Yeah,
right.
But, so
does he.
So does a lot of relationships for me.
That is true. Anyway, yes.
Would you like to hear this contribution to conversation pieces from habitual line stepper?
Yes.
He sounds a nice friend for you, Frank.
Okay.
A photo, this is his conversation piece, a photo of my father in full Papua New Guinean tribal wear with the two brides he was gifted by the village elder.
Wow.
I'll leave that with you.
I'm trying to picture what that would be like. If you want to send us a photo of that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's in a village in situ, or do you think it's with one of those local photographer smoky backgrounds you used to get on all working class photos?
I find my bigamist grandfather is quite a good conversation piece.
Yeah. But he's not at your house, is he? You didn't have him stuffed. If I had the Tipton Slashers monkey in my house, I don't know about conversation so much as screaming in hysteria. A man came to mind our dog this week because we were out, and he's a very nice chap, and I went to the cat said, you got to go and show him the monkey. He listens to the show, he wants to see the monkey. And I said, no, I don't want to show people the monkey in case they don't like it. And she said, no, he's like it. He's a lovely chap.
You didn't show me that same respect.
Yeah, so I said, I don't want to show. She said, no, come on, please, I promised him. So I went to the door. I said, look, this is against, I've been told I've got to do this. And I've never heard him swear before. And then when I showed him the monkey, he did some quite class A swearing, and I said, well, it wasn't my idea. My partner forced me into it. Okay, obviously the monkey wasn't my idea. Who do you think I am, Charles Darwin?
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I'm still on conversation pieces. I'm not letting this go.
That's okay.
David Robinson. Yes. We have a chair that was made for Beyonce Knowles. Great use of Knowles there.
Wow. Yeah, I love. Not enough people use the surname on Beyonce.
It's like saying Madonna Ciccone. Beyonce Knowles. She never used it in the end, but we call it the Beyonce chair.
There's a bigger story to this, isn't there? Is he a chair manufacturer who had an order?
How do you envisage that happening, Frank? I think you might be able
Maybe it was got especially for at some event, and then she didn't like the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I imagine she's a woman who of strong opinions.
Oh, you think she didn't like the chair?
No, yeah, just not her kind of chair.
Brendan Eyre, a signed picture of Anne Widdecombe.
That's cool.
That's challenging, isn't it? That's been put up solely for that. I've got a signed picture of Danny LaRue, actually. I wonder if I should get that out of mothballs.
Well, I've got a signed picture from Frank Bruno saying, to Emma, lots of love, F. Bruno.
That's nice.
Someone was telling me this week that Frank Lampard, had somehow announced his support for the Conservative Party. And now that he's the Everton manager, the Liverpool fans refer to him as Frankie de Tory. Well done, guys. That's top stuff.
I'd love a toffee.
Yeah, that sort of terrorist comedy, it's a bit less common than you might think. Mainly it's abuse, but occasionally you get a clever one. That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
We've also had a Hood anecdote.
Oh, I love that.
Not an anecdote from the Hood, like the 002, someone whose phone number ends 002. Morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. Probably only Frank will remember this, but on the hood of the Parker jacket in the 70s was a strap and buckle. I remember that, actually. On the bus, if you distracted the kid wearing such a jacket, you could undo the strap and buckle and then tie it around one of the vertical handholds on the bus. So when said kid tried to leave the bus, he was hilariously stuck.
I saw that.
It was like a sort of handcuff.
I saw it done with a girl's hair on the 120 bus.
Wow.
And she got up, went, ow! And then couldn't reach back and
she me with
untie
that
it.
reaction.
Yeah.
For any young people, bullying used to take place offline in a sort of more in the flesh version, like these stories.
Yeah, I think this was not. I think this was friends of hers. It was prank level.
Can I just quickly?
You couldn't do it now with extensions. That could go very wrong, couldn't it? Oh no, that just rip them out.
Frank, John Moran, this is conversation piece. A dartboard with an 80s picture of Jimmy Tarbuck and Cilla Black. The gap in Tarbuck's teeth is placed strategically over the bull. Great talking point and great stress reliever.
Seems a bit unkind to two of our great all-round entertainers.
That's what I would have said.
Indeed.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I would like to talk to you guys about a subject that is quite close to my heart and angers me, and that's potholes in the road. You know, potholes.
Oh, yeah. We all
when you
know
drive
them.
over them and it makes you jolt. Not just any. Some in the south of England this week were filled in by none other than Sir Rod Stewart.
Oh, I love Sir Roderick.
I didn't even know he was a Sir Rod, but how great is that?
I think he's been knighted for this incident.
Well, he's damn should
They've
be.
rushed one through
He
for him.
should be. Fast track due to pothole.
Like when Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize the day after getting the job.
Well, I don't.
Near enough the day after. Any pedants are listening.
I didn't know you could do sort of vigilante road repairs.
You can't.
Can't,
it turns
and he
out.
will get told off for it. He will, definitely. But,
Not Rod.
Not so Roderick.
Well, he put a video out, didn't he?
Yeah.
I have to say, in Rod's defence, should I be called as a character witness?
I hope you are.
There's potholes and there's potholes. That road was an absolute disgrace. It was just...
Speaking truth to power on Absolute.
Yeah, it was almost just potholes, that road.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in case you don't know, Rod got some of his friends and they got gravel. I think some of the gravel he uses for gargling. they took it out there and they did. I mean, if you haven't seen it,
Please do.
who knew that Sir Rod Stewart, had a high-vis jacket?
Oh, I love it.
And also, can you go out and buy a Men at Work sign? Because he had a proper Men at Work. You know,
He didn't just have that. He had so much equipment.
I saw a cone.
I saw a cone.
I don't want to wealth shame you, Frank, but I think with Rod Stewart's money you can buy anything. I think he's different league, and I think
Do you think he arrived on one of those trucks with an arrow on the back, telling you got to go to the left? I'd love if he's got one of those.
Oh, maybe it was going like a. As he was reversing, but I have to say, I mean, I love Rod anyway. Always love Rod, always will. I think the train set really won me over.
Oh, yes, of course.
I thought that was great.
I mean, actually, I associate him with all the transport. I associate him with mini train sets, sailing, and now with road repairs.
I wonder if he wears the high vis when he's operating the railway. You feel he ought.
I hope he wears it on stage. I'd be up for that.
Oh, of course, he's one of your lot, Al. He's colourblind, isn't he, Rod?
Is he?
Because part of
Is
the
he?
railway thing was someone went to Rod's house and the grass was red on his railway thing. Oh, we shouldn't laugh. I mean, it's a disability of sorts.
I looked at his Instagram page and he posted this video. And what I like is, firstly, he puts on a slightly sort of Cockney accent, which I like, a bit more Cockney than usual. He says, well, they haven't bothered to do this, so we're going to have to do it. Went a bit Del Boy.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Why not, Rod? Why not? But I like that. Have you noticed on Rod's Insta bio, he has a brilliant thing written on it. He says, wake up, Maggie. I think I've got something to Instagram.
Very fine.
Discuss.
Very fine.
Yeah.
The Daily Mirror's headline was Rod gets his ash felt.
Oh, come on.
Actually, it wasn't. That was mine.
Oh, God.
Trying to blame it on someone else in case the teacher didn't like it.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Anyway, this is Frank Skinner, man of 1,000 voices on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean.
Voices.
Well, okay, with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Frank, I know we're not allowed to read out praise. However, I have to say there's something we received which has given me all the feels. Because it's
I'm
from...
not totally sure what that means, but I'm...
Okay, well, stay with me.
Okay.
It's from our dear friend, your dear friend David Baddiel and mine.
Oh, yes.
And I love this. He quoted you. Rod Stewart got some of his friends and some gravel, the same gravel I think he uses for gargling. And he said, Frank just now on Rod's vigilante pothole fixing, making me laugh out loud. And I just love that.
That is nice, isn't it?
Love
Lol.
I made him lol.
it. Yeah, I thought I'd share that with you because it warmed my heart.
Well, perhaps I should share this back. Dave used to host a school quiz in Camden, and I spoke to someone the other night who'd been to it this year's. And Dave doesn't do it anymore. And he said, someone on the table said to him, it's all right, but it's not like when David Baddiel used to do it. He was great. So I meant to tell him that, but I thought I'll tell him on air
So
now.
he's praised you on the national radio. You've praised the quiz.
Well, I've shared, yes. But it's every
I
gig
know.
is a big gig.
This is true. Well,
Yeah.
as I say, I'm all over it, this bromance. We are discussing Rod Stewart.
We've just been going through off air Rod's various partners over the years, because Rod was one of the pioneers of I think what the Daily Mail called carbon mating.
Right.
Which is like, it's a pun on carbon copies, and it's when you go out with a string of people who all look the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went out with a succession of...
this could be awkward.
Okay, maybe I won't tell that story.
No, go on, please do.
Well, they all had short, blonde, like peroxide blonde hair. But some of them, I'm realising now, didn't start with it. I talked them into it. This is all gone a bit like Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Let's leave it there. Anyway, I always thought that Rod went out with women that looked the same because he just couldn't be bothered to change his girlfriend avatar on his Wii.
But
Practical.
What I think it's part of with Rod, if you don't mind me being so bold, is that he does like to deliver on the rock star lifestyle. He has the Rolls Royce or Bentley or whatever it is.
But one of the things he said about the potholes, was that an ambulance had burst a tyre on this road. He said, and I can't get my Ferrari down there at all.
And he did seem to treat both complaints with equal weight, didn't he?
He said, I mean, an ambulance tyre's burst, I can't get my Ferrari down there.
It did remind me of my favourite photograph of all time, which is Elvis at the scene of a road accident.
I can't even hear this.
When he used to sit in Graceland with his mates listening to police radio, and if there was an incident, because he had a police badge from the local sheriff, Elvis would go out. And there's Elvis at night at the scene of a car crash in a full-length leather jacket and shades, holding a massive torch. It is honestly, it's a work of art. I'd love to get like a big... That'd be a conversation piece for your wall, wouldn't it? Elvis at the scene of a road accident. Oh, man. Very much.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Quick stop off from Lee Wainwright for a conversation piece. He sent us a photograph of the biscuit barrel that he has that Del Boy kept his cigars in.
No.
It's not the actual one, is it?
I believe so.
Wow.
So I don't know. Lee, could you clear this up, please? Thank you so much.
Good bit of TV memorabilia there, Lee.
I didn't even know that he had a biscuit tin he kept his cigars in.
No.
I saw a bar in, I think, Marbella, where they'd got one of those three-wheeler cars. Like, they'd sort of fixed it up high on the roof above the door. And it said something like Del Boys or something like that. Yeah, it wouldn't have lured me in, I've got to be straight. But you never know.
It's no Lineker's in Portabanus.
No, very popular.
We were talking about Rod Stewart.
And he did some pothole fixing, didn't he? It's quite an unusual story. It reminds me of that time when Burt Bacharach was doing spot welding on local lampposts. I don't know if you remember that one.
And if anyone stopped to talk to him, he'd just say, walk on by.
Lovely.
Apparently. He said, a quote from Rod, filling holes is good for the soul.
All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. We've all had a drink.
Yeah. I wish he'd stop saying that.
Okay.
It's been saying that for years.
Okay, everyone.
But
10:16 on Absolute Radio, Frank.
But if I'm correct, didn't Rod used to be a gravedigger?
Frank,
I think that's the...
I love that you know that, because I know a lot of information about him, because he's a Highgate boy, which is my manor.
Oh, yeah.
And you're absolutely right. He was a gravedigger in Highgate Cemetery.
So he's been filling holes professionally for, probably 50 years.
Yeah.
I think they dig the holes, though, the gravediggers. I think it's...
Don't they fill them in after?
I think the funeral
If you want to know, I'll tell you all about it afterwards, okay? Do you, Penny Lancaster...
In Penny Lancaster, there is a barber selling photographs.
Very good, Frank. Because she is Rod's wife. It's not current. I think forever wife. They seem very happy. I am obsessed by her. I'd go so far. Yes, I love that woman. Can I tell you why? She's become a police officer, Al.
No.
Yes.
That's
The husband's worth whatever it is, 300 million. She's decided she does 4 a.m. night shifts as well. Obsessed
She's a
by
4
Penny
a.m. girl?
Lancaster. Yes.
Wow.
She's a special constable. I love this woman.
And she's a proper, not like when the royals are in the army. It's a proper thing. Wow. How brilliant. Because they're all so tall, of course, Rod's carbon mates. So she was probably diverting traffic while he was doing the potholes. She got any white gloves?
She was doing a reality show called Famous and Fighting Crime. And she thought, I love this. I want to do this full time for a living.
That's great.
That is great.
Obsessed. Love her.
Are there any other celebrity special constables? 8, 12, 15. I'd love to know the answer to that. That is that's
So far as Penny Lancaster and Elvis are the only ones who've got involved in that side.
Yeah, well, like Elvis took it very. Elvis had police badges for like states all over the USA and a special drug.
Well, we know about that, Frank.
No,
Let's
but
not focus on that.
He had a badge, like an anti-drug agency badge.
Rather unfortunate. Oh dear. Play a song. It's very unfortunate.
Okay, I'll play it.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I had a text from our former producer on the show.
Oh, lovely Daisy.
She's now upstairs. She's upstairs. I think she oversees.
You make it sound like, are you being served?
And she said, I heard a nominative determinism thing the other day. You know, the idea that your name leads you into the job. And this bloke is a professor of language.
Oh, yeah.
And he's called a Christian, or it could be a woman, I suppose, Christian linguist.
I mean, that's extraordinary.
I think that really... That's like finding out that Nick Ferrari had stolen Rod Stewart's car.
We've had people sending us in celebrities who have worked in the police force.
We've honestly got that fantastic.
Al, do you want to kick off with?
I think the name that is coming up most frequently from various texters is Nigel Mansell was a special constable on the Isle of Man when he lived there.
Was he really? Because the tash, that used to be a very police thing, the tash.
Yes, very much
And
so.
831 has said apparently as he wasn't a regular, he wasn't qualified to drive the squad cars. Which
You're
seems
joking.
something of a waste.
That does seem. But I suppose him pulling people over for speeding.
Yeah.
David Coulthard told me that he had a smart car that he drove.
Did he?
Can you believe that? Oh,
Yes,
I
I can from you. I can. It's very sort of thing I'd hear from you. We've also had Reed Danger, 66. David Lee Roth used to work with the New York Ambulance Department, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if this is some joke that I've missed. Perhaps it is.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We've also had 923. We're reaching a bit here, but that's okay. I'm happy to reach. On the subject of
Is
celebrities...
this going to be Cannon and Ball played police officers in a film? Once?
No, it's the son of Alvin Stardust.
Oh, well.
Right.
He was the only man who could ever reach me.
Oh.
Was the son of Alvin Stardust. Oh, yes, he was.
He says we used to have an SC, he calls it. I like SC.
Special constable.
Who used to come with our shift. He was the son of Alvin Stardust, who I believe was a DJ who went by the name of Adam F.
Well, I bumped into Jimmy Cricket's son, and he was training for the priesthood.
I believe he became a priest, yeah.
Did he? Good news.
I know his daughter a little.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Jimmy Cricket, I see, wrote to me about something and began...
A funny joke in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it began by saying, it's been very cold just lately. I opened the wardrobe the other day and my jacket was wearing one of my overcoats. Fabulous.
I love a letter starting with the weather
Come
and
here.
then turning into a joke. I had that, Frank, with my letter from Arthur Miller.
Oh, here we go.
I'm sorry,
You had to top my Jimmy Cricket.
We're from different worlds. It said, dearest Emily, dearest.
Did he?
It's
Arthur Miller.
It's very warm here in New York currently.
Yeah, that's what happens when you marry Marilyn Monroe. Phew, I'm just loose. I'm holding my collar. I'm doing that thing when you hold your collar out and go, phew. Oh, you got a letter. Have you still got that letter?
Yeah, got it framed.
Fantastic. Oh, is it a conversation piece?
Frank,
Yeah.
it's my conversation piece.
That's
Wow.
great work. Well, I might get cricket behind glass.
That'd be great.
See how that goes.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We have a section of the show where we discuss things that people have replied about things that we previously discussed.
God, I didn't follow that. I know what he means. Now, sometimes
Previously.
stuff is so interesting on
Yeah.
the show that we get letters in the week about it. I'm saying letters as if I was doing points of view.
I'll give you an example.
Go on.
Hot off the press. Last week you were discussing what people always carry with them. I think we had some funny news clippings that people had in their wallet
yeah.
for years and
Yes.
years. And Neil Smith has got in touch. I carry the key card to the hotel room I spent my wedding night in 13 years ago.
Lovely.
Hotel is no longer there, but marriage still alive and well. I mean, I like that.
If you
There's
had
a
the
lot in it.
choice. Yeah, there is. That's lovely, actually. In fact, I realised now, and I'd forgotten this, that my partner, Kath, used to work at Channel 4. I mean, when I first met her, I think. No, not when I first met her, but shortly after. And in fact, when I first met her, she was working for my management agency, and I think we weren't supposed to
Okay.
fraternise. Anyway, so I've still got her security card with a picture on, which is in my wallet all the time.
Oh, that's rather cute.
It is.
Less cute. Where is Noel Edmonds?
If you want my attention, always begin the topic with less cute. And I'm thinking, oh, now we're in my area. Okay.
Where is Noel Edmonds?
Oh, yes, I remember that. I don't think that was a deliberate texting, but I think we were talking about it.
Can I just say the producer's dancing in the corner? She's swaying rather dramatically.
Okay.
She's got a silent disco going on. Where is Noel Edmonds? We wanted to know the answer. Chris has told us he's located Edmonds. Morning, Frank and team.
Is he a private detective, Chris?
Noel Edmonds is now living in New Zealand
Is he?
and has set up a radio station for plants.
Wow.
I don't think that's a joke, because he was talking about one for dogs, I believe.
Was he?
I think so.
Yeah. Do you remember that, Al?
Yeah, I think he's mainly specialising in non-human radio ideas.
Aren't we all, dear?
I think the good thing about that is there's quite a lot of space to be filled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a well-ploughed field, is it? Non-human radio. People do
That's,
talk to plants. So it's the idea you have the radio at the side of your plants and they
I
listen
think
to
so,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was only talking about this on Absolute Crockery the other day. It's a station mainly for
plates
bone
to listen
china,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is really something.
It is.
Really something.
No, it is though. Let me get this right one more time. Noel Edmonds is living in New Zealand where he runs a radio station for plants.
Yeah.
Maybe it's plants like the people that David Copperfield gets up to cut in half. Could it be that? So you talk about, there's little features about staying incognito whilst being in the audience and not going backstage in case you're spotted and stuff like that. I think that could be.
Have you met Edmonds, by the way?
Oh, yes, I have.
thought you would have. I have as well.
Well, as you know, I saw him walking across my car park one morning when he was staying on a
Well,
friend's
I do
sofa,
remember.
all dressed in black like the that milk tray man
Was it Steve Jobs?
Brilliant.
with a holdall. Yeah, he could be burglaring. Come to think of it, I think we'd have heard.
Did he have black and and white stripes on.
I think he stole some horticultural headphones from a local botanist who lived in there.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Conversation pieces, Noah Zander Barnes. I have a bottle of Manchester United whiskey signed by Alex Ferguson.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You did well to sneak that past him.
Also 711. Hi Frank, Emily and Al. I believe that actor Steven Seagal was a deputy sheriff for a while in the US.
Okay. You were allowed to have the sort of man bun.
He's got a big old widow's peak, that one.
He has.
I think he got a special exemption for the man bun based on his skills.
He probably had one of those Foreign Legion, those pieces of material that come out the back of the cap. He probably had one of those.
Oh, I love those.
Stop getting your neck sunburnt, those things. They never really caught on, though. You don't see many baseball caps made with the neck
it's like
cover.
Davy Crockett vibe, wasn't it?
Davy Crockett was the...
No, but he had the flaps, didn't he?
No.
He did.
He did?
No, he didn't.
Oh, did he not?
He had a raccoon skin
I
cap.
thought it had descended.
No, it had the tail.
I apologise.
I don't know if you know this, Emily, but Frank has an MA in hats throughout history.
No, but I am a big fan of the Wild West, as
Yes,
it used
you
to be
are.
called.
I'll give you that, you
Davy
are.
Crockett was famous for that.
Okay.
Hat. I think you're thinking of
Somewhat
Elmer Fudd.
You are. You are.
Somewhat less cute.
Less cute than Davy Crockett.
Less cute than Noel Edmonds.
Apparently, less cute is the way to get your interest.
Oh yeah.
One of your previous text-ins that you just chucked out there and surprised us all with how big a deal it was where's the weirdest place you've found a slug? So we've got quite a lot of found slugs missives that I'd like to bring to your attention.
Yeah. Okay.
One of my favourites, brief, inside a recorder after 3 blind mice wasn't sounding like itself.
Oh wow.
Disgusting.
You can imagine that changed the timbre, can't you?
Yeah, operated as a sort of a organic mute.
What about Al? What about Carl Donaghy? Inside my canoeing helmet. Most unpleasant feeling as I was about to navigate a rapid.
Oh, so he was actually wearing
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
You'd be worried
Although
that might be a leech or something as well, wouldn't you?
Well, he doesn't seem too perturbed because he added "lol" in caps. In much the same way as David Baddiel, about your gravel joke.
Yeah.
Lol.
Mike Backhouse. It's all okay. Yeah, just checked. My dad found one on my mum's scarf as we left a meal outdoors at a pub. He spotted it and whispered, "Distract your mother," as he heroically walloped it into a nearby hedge.
Ah.
Okay?
Wouldn't it have been okay to say, Ingrid, you've got I'm guessing. Ingrid, you've got a slug on your scarf. Would she have...
I don't think it would have been okay.
I think he was trying to
Maybe
be...
she had a full tray of drinks.
It's interesting that's the bit that you picked up on. I was thinking the word heroically was doing quite a lot of work there for just whacking a slug off a scarf.
I wouldn't whack it off, would you? I mean, I don't know what they used to cling. You could be leaving like slug feet.
I don't know what
Scarf.
they do in Sweden, where you seem to have strangely based it by calling her Ingrid.
I think it's pretty established slugs don't have feet, though. That's one thing I do know about.
Do we? They might have been a school.
Oh, don't know. Do you remember when we found out bed bugs had beaks? That was one of the most disgusting
Did we?
things.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
That would be like if we found out slugs. Imagine if slugs had hands. Oh.
Slug feet on my scarf.
They'd be very handsy, actually, I think.
Slug feet on my scarf. Ooh. An LOL based laugh. Ooh, anyway, we've got to end now.
Strangest ending we've ever had.
Yes. Ross Buchanan is up next. He usually precedes me, doesn't he, Ross? I seems, as Richard III said, I go before my horse to market. Listen to Ross. Thank you so much for listening to us this morning. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out. Emily's actually choking. Get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.